Mr. Sammy Arroyo.
Before I acknowledge anyone in this room today, I would like to forewarn you all that I will be speaking on behalf of my generation, Generation Z. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Samuel Jr., and I am here with the goal to enhance my speaking and leadership skills by putting myself to the test among the best. Dr. King is one of the most iconic civil rights movement leaders of all time, and his legacy is still influenced to this day. Born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, Martin Luther King was raised with a strong discernment of faith and justice. Of course, he was raised 3 generations in a church that would shape him into the activist he would become later in his life. After graduating from Morehouse College at just 19 years old, he went on to earn a PhD before returning to Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. It was during this time that Dr. King began speaking out against the racial injustice across America. This spurred by events like Rosa Parks' arrest for not giving up her bus seats, which led him to become an active leader with the civil rights movement, such as Malcolm X or Frederick Douglass. He organized peaceful protests throughout cities across America, while also delivering powerful speeches that would challenge people's belief systems. But at the same time, he would advocate for equality among all races. Perhaps this famous speech, "I Have a Dream," helped ignite even more support towards ending segregation laws. But Dr. King's fearless dedication for freedom ultimately cost him his life. When he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, April 4th, 1968, even though he passed, he left behind an incredible legacy of courage, inspiration, hope, but most of all, change. Despite facing extreme violence and oppression in his life, it can be said without exaggeration that undoubtedly Mr. Martin Luther King will forever remain one of the greatest influencers of all time. But let's rewind to the year 1966. While bottoms weren't the only thing happening, this was the year Reverend King won the Margaret Sanger Award. Who is Margaret Sanger? I'm glad you asked. Margaret Sanger is a name that has been synonymous with reproductive rights since the early 20th century. She was an American nurse, writer, and birth control activist who opened her first birth control clinic in 1916. She was a pioneering advocate for women's bodies, leading to her helping pave the way for Roe v. Wade, which was for the main purpose of legalizing abortion nationwide in 1973. Even though she has helped a multitude of women, it was tarnished due to her believing in eugenics, which led to her true colors being revealed. But first, you must ask, what is eugenics? The theory of eugenics was the idea of arranging traits within a human population to increase the occurrence of characteristics that was desirable. For example, the color of someone's skin. This led to her downfall because there is proof of her emphasizing how she truly felt about minorities. She once said, "Black people, poor people, slaves, Latins, and Hebrews are human weeds." One more example I have is when she first opened that abortion clinic in 1916. She said, while speaking with her doctors, "We do not want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population." When I read this fact, end quote, I became overwhelmed of how can a person think and act like this. It is clear that she was a Hitler in disguise, and we must never permit history to repeat itself once again. It was repugnant and a disgrace towards humanity. Many people did not know of her true intentions until she died, which leads me to believe that Martin Luther King was not privy to this information as well. But I believe if Dr. King was alive to experience Roe versus Wade and the overturn, he would have conflicting feelings. Because even though he was an activist, leader, and speaker, he still got to experience the wonderful gift of having a child. And being able to say, while he was holding his baby, "This will be my legacy." I know how my Dr. King was raised in the Lord, as was I. Due to this, I believe he would be in favor of the overturn. But truth be told, we can all have informed opinions formed by what research says, but we still do not know his true opinion. We briefly spoke about Roe versus Wade and the overturn, but let's take a closer look. Roe versus Wade was the constitutional decision that allowed women to terminate a life. But through the decades of it being passed, it was constantly being rebutted by many states, such as Georgia. They passed the Georgia Heart Bill in 2019. This was a statewide abortion ban that was issued as soon as they heard a fetal heartbeat. Due to lingering resistance to abortion in ample states, such as Texas, Tennessee, and many others, I have told you about the research, the facts, and also my opinions on this topic. We may not all agree, but now I feel the need to leave with everyone my final thoughts in reference of it all. I spoke about Martin Luther King, Planned Parenthood, and Roe versus Wade. But in the midst of it, you have heard where I stand. My convictions hold me at a certain stature that I truly believe MLK also followed, due to him being a true man of God. As he once said, "Use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself." I've never experienced the written word in such a way. Thank you for your time.